Imagine you're walking down a quiet street. Two strangers are coming toward you. One keeps a completely blank face. The other smiles for just a second. Without thinking, which one feels safer? Most people choose the smiling stranger. But here's the strange part. That tiny movement of the mouth can completely change your brain's judgment in less than a second. A smile is just a few facial muscles pulling upward. So why does it have so much power? Why can one expression make someone seem kind, trustworthy, friendly, or even attractive? And why do fake smiles sometimes make us uncomfortable, even when we can't explain why? Today we're exploring the hidden science behind one of the most powerful signals humans ever evolved. A smile. Let's travel back. Not thousands of years. Not even millions. Let's go back before humans even existed. Long before language. Long before cities. Our ancestors had one huge problem. Survival depended on knowing one thing. Friend. Or enemy. Making the wrong decision could be deadly. Run from a friend. You lose help. Trust an enemy. You lose your life. Brains that could read intentions quickly survived longer. That's why evolution built an incredible shortcut. Instead of analyzing every detail, the brain learned to read faces. Especially the mouth. And the eyes. Even today, your brain starts analyzing someone's face. Before you're consciously aware you've seen them. It happens automatically. Almost instantly. Scientists have discovered that people form first impressions in around 1/10 of a second. That's faster than a blink. Your brain isn't asking, is this person actually trustworthy? Instead it's asking, do they look trustworthy? Those are very different questions. Because appearances aren't always reality. But for most of human history, quick guesses were better than slow mistakes. Now let's focus on the smile itself. A genuine smile isn't just about the lips. Real smiles activate tiny muscles around the eyes. The cheeks rise. Small wrinkles appear. The eyes seem brighter. Scientists call this a Duchenne smile. It's surprisingly difficult to fake. Actors practice it. Politicians train it. Salespeople learn it. But even then, people often notice something feels off. Because your brain is incredibly good at detecting tiny differences. Even when you don't realize it. Imagine someone smiling, but their eyes stay completely still. Their cheeks barely move. Their expression disappears. The moment they stop talking, something feels strange. You may not know why. But your brain notices. It labels the smile as less genuine. All of this happens without words. Here's where things become even more fascinating. Smiles don't just communicate emotions. They spread them. Have you ever noticed that when someone smiles at you, you often smile back automatically? That's because your brain contains systems that copy other people's expressions. Scientists call this emotional mimicry. It's one reason laughter spreads through a room, yawns become contagious, and smiles seem infectious. Your brain constantly asks, if they're feeling safe, maybe I am too. Think about babies. Newborns know almost nothing about the world. But within just a few months, they respond differently to smiling faces. They spend more time looking at smiles. They become calmer, more engaged. Before they understand language, they understand faces. That's how fundamental smiling is to human communication. Now imagine two villages thousands of years ago. One group cooperates, shares food, raises children together, protects each other. The other group constantly fights, distrusts everyone, never works together. Which village survives longer? The cooperative one. Humans became one of Earth's most successful species not because we're the strongest or the fastest, but because we cooperate better than almost any other animal. And cooperation begins with trust. A smile became one of the fastest ways to signal, I'm not a threat. But here's something surprising. Smiles aren't always friendly. Sometimes they're strategic. Think about customer service, flight attendants, politicians, actors. Many professions require smiling. Even when people don't actually feel happy. This is called emotional labor. The smile becomes part of the job. Sometimes genuine, sometimes practiced, sometimes exhausting. That's why your brain never relies on the smile alone. It also checks voice, body language, eye contact, timing, movement, context. Now let's talk about one of the biggest myths. People often believe smiling always means happiness. Not true. Humans smile when nervous, when embarrassed, when scared, when surprised, even during stressful situations. Athletes smile after painful competitions. Students smile while giving presentations. People sometimes smile during uncomfortable conversations. The same expression can represent completely different emotions. Your brain figures out the meaning by combining dozens of tiny clues. Now imagine you're meeting someone online. You only see text. No smile. No eyes. No facial expression. Suddenly communication becomes much harder. That's one reason emojis became so popular. They replace some of the missing facial information. Not perfectly, but enough to help our brains understand emotional intent. It's a digital version of one of humanity's oldest social signals. Now here's an experiment. Picture two identical photos. Same person. Same clothes. Same hairstyle. Same lighting in one photo. Neutral expression in the other. A warm smile. People consistently rate the smiling version as more trustworthy, even though it's literally the same person. One tiny facial movement changes everything. But there's another twist. Trust isn't always accurate. History is full of people who smiled while lying. Con artists, scammers, manipulators. A smile can be used as a tool. Your brain evolved to detect honest intentions. But it isn't perfect. That's why critical thinking matters. Trust should come from actions, not expressions alone. Scientists studying brain scans discovered something interesting. When we see friendly faces, brain regions involved in fear become less active. Meanwhile, areas connected to social interaction become more active. It's almost as if your brain quietly says, maybe we don't need to prepare for danger. One smile can slightly reduce social tension. Not eliminate it, but soften it. Now think about your own day. How many strangers smiled at you? Maybe the cashier. Maybe a neighbor. Maybe someone crossing the street. Most of those moments lasted less than a second. You probably forgot them instantly. Yet together, those tiny interactions shape how safe a community feels. Cities with more friendly social interactions often feel more welcoming. Not because the buildings changed, because the people did. There's another fascinating phenomenon. Have you ever looked at someone smiling and found yourself smiling even though nothing funny happened? That's because emotions aren't just inside us. They're shared. Psychologists sometimes describe emotions as socially contagious. One person's expression influences another person's brain, which influences another person's expression. Like ripples spreading across water. But remember, not every culture smiles in exactly the same situations. Some cultures smile frequently with strangers. Others reserve smiles for close relationships. Some cultures value emotional restraint. Others encourage open emotional expression. Yet despite these differences, the basic ability to recognize a genuine smile appears across humanity. It's one of our universal languages. Here's something even stranger. Your own smile changes how you feel. When facial muscles form a genuine smile, they send signals back to the brain. This doesn't magically create happiness, but it can slightly influence emotional processing. The relationship works both ways. The brain affects the face. The face also sends information back to the brain. It's a feedback loop. Now imagine our ancestors gathering around a fire after sunset. No electricity. No phones. No internet. Only faces illuminated by flickering flames. Every smile. Every raised eyebrow. Every expression carried important information. Who's angry? Who's relaxed? Who's trustworthy? Who's scared? For tens of thousands of years, reading faces was one of humanity's greatest survival skills. Our modern brains still carry that ancient software. Even though today, most dangers arrive through notifications, not predators. So the next time someone smiles at you, remember, your brain isn't simply seeing curved lips. It's reading millions of years of evolutionary history. It's predicting safety, searching for cooperation, measuring intention, preparing a response, all before you're consciously aware of it. A smile isn't powerful because of the muscles. It's powerful because of what those muscles have meant throughout human history. For our ancestors, a genuine smile often meant, "You're safe. You belong here. You can come closer and maybe." That's why even today, one tiny expression can completely change how we see another human being. Because beneath smartphones, office buildings, cars, and modern life, our brains are still running ancient survival software. And that software has trusted smiles for a very long time. So the next time you catch yourself trusting someone simply because they smiled, ask yourself, was it really your decision or did evolution make it long before you were born? Because sometimes the smallest expression tells the biggest story.